Wow. Well, I was just completely booted out of Facebook. Imagine that. I'm going to wait a little bit and let people, I'm sure you guys were like, where'd she go? Wow. Can't even get through the story, guys. I am so sorry. I don't know. Well, I have my ideas of why that happened, but obviously I can't say I know why that happened, but I was completely booted out of Facebook in mid-sentence. So this is going to be take 2. Look, I just want to tell my story. And the worst part about what's been going on is I've had this group that wants to take my voice away. My rights to be online, to be like any other person. We all get to post pictures of our kids and our family and, you know, share our experiences, ups and downs, all on Facebook. But for some reason, this group thinks that me and a couple other, a few people don't deserve that. Well, we do. So no matter how many times people try to silence me, cut me off, keep me from telling my story, I'm going to keep telling it. And I'll find a new way. I may not be on Facebook the last, few months and kept quiet. There was a reason and a purpose for that. I did things a different way because they needed to be done a different way. And it is not CPS or the courts that are keeping me from being online. Not once have I been told I cannot. In fact, even in my confidential meetings, when everybody agrees to the confidentiality of my caseworker states, this is my case. I am allowed to say and do whatever I want with that information publicly. So, I'm going to give it a minute. It is aggravating. It's frustrating. But in some of the counseling and therapy that I have underwent, I am learning to not allow that anxiety and anger sometimes to overtake me. So, they don't, Melanie's asking a question. It just depends. But I feel like this is my opinion and my professional opinion as well, dealing with so many cases that, hi Tina, they take a child's word when they want to, when it benefits them. Because I know my case 24 years ago, my daughter was not allowed to go into the criminal court trial and testify because she could not tell the difference between a lie and the truth at her age. However, everything that she said, she supposedly, allegedly said, again, no recordings, was the determining factor of me losing custody of her. So, it definitely depends. And there are cases. Today, I learned of a mom here that got contempt on CPS in her court case. So, there are good judges. There are good caseworkers. There are good therapists. There are good people. I've been with the same supervisor of my visits, and that Mr. T, Uncle T, has become family. To truly care about me and my children, to encourage me, to build me when I feel down, when I am sad, and when I was at my lowest. He was there, to encourage me that you're doing great. Because he was the person that was with me. He knew what kind of mom, he knows what kind of mom I am. And now we have 3 of them that have come to be visit supervisors who have come to love our family and share our life with them as much as we can, and actually went to battle for me with visits. And even an assessment that was being done, I have a lady who's doing the clinical assessment. She too, in the last family team meeting, spoke up for my kids and me and things that I was saying that they needed, just like I did in court. So let me get back on track, because I'm ADD, squirrel, rabbit, Christmas tree. I get very sidetracked. So I am allowed to speak what is going on. So with that, I had been up with my children for over 4 days. I was battling an illness. I still am. I am doing better, but I am still sick. None of that's been made up, as people have tried to make it seem. I wish it wasn't true. I don't like feeling the way I do sometimes. It sucks. But it is the way it is. Just like this situation is. I went to bed. I simply laid my head upon a pillow and snoozed away and laid some Z's out. I was under a lot of stress, and it was very hard after 4 days of being up, completely up, because my kids were. Yes, they went a couple days without a bath. Sure did. But the norm in my house is every 2 days, and now that Chloe's older, she would be getting one every day. Did they get their own cereal once in a while? Yep, sure did. Did they have crackers? Yes, they did the night before. Did we have a lot of eggs? Yes, they were free. Never once were my kids at risk. When she came here, she still did not have the intention of seizing my children. It was to come and work something out. So she gave me a whole 25 minutes. It is stated in the legal paperwork. She waited 25 minutes for me to answer a message, a phone call, and the door, but my doorbell was broken. And I can sleep through a hurricane some days. When I am exhausted like that and fatigued, man, I can barely keep my eyes open. Has it been harder to raise children like that? Yes. But have I? Absolutely. I have a disability, and it's something that I have had to deal with. When I had back surgery, I learned, I came to the realization that I could not pick up my now 18-year-old and carry him around, or, get up high into the shelves to get some of the dishes and stuff. And I taught my son how to get on the counters. Sure did. Because that's all I could do. Being different is okay too. I don't let it limit what kind of parent I am, and I never will. When I'm sick, I still get up. I have never not been a part of their own medical issues and disabilities. The school, I have been at every doctor visit, every play, event, every boo-boo, every happy moment. I have boxes full of artwork and paperwork. And, I pushed to get my son into an IEP after they took him out of developmental pre-K. I pushed to have him stay in the grade when they pushed him through, and then only 6 weeks later pulled him back. I pushed in court for my children because I am their advocate and their voice. They are young. So in less than 3 hours, my children were detained. How is that right? There was no immediate threat because my children were not home. They could have had where my children were, keep them only until speaking to me. They did not do that. They immediately seized my kids, ripped them out of the only home that they'd ever known, and put them in the middle of a very chaotic and confusing situation. They took me, the parent, away, full-time parent. Like I said, every day. Did they go to their dads? Absolutely. And I will continue to allow them to have a more than every other weekend, daddy moment with my kids. I believe in 50-50 shared parenting. I believe in giving your kids access to both your children, both their parents. Unless, yes, it is a really big issue. I have no criminal record to the point of anything to do with my children. Even in the domestic situations that I lived in, not once was my children at risk. Not once. To rip them from their home and everything that they had known was wrong. And it was hard. And it's something I don't wish upon anybody else. And that is why I will continue to be who I am. Will I grow? Will I change? Will I get better? Will I make mistakes? All of the above. When my children were taken, it became a big uphill battle for the last 7 months. And again, I'm going to share that at a different time with the details, with the evidence to show that my kids were fraudulently taken, wrongfully taken, and did harm to me and my children. But it's still the way it is. And no, I couldn't change it. The one thing I did was stand up for who I am. I am a rights activist. And I need to stand on who I am. And I did follow their due process procedures and asked that it be taken to fact-finding. Was I thrown under the bus? And we'll get into that? Yes. Was it a sham and a joke? Yes. But I was still there. What was I going to do? I was going to fight for my kids, just like I've done every day of their life. I was going to be there as much as I could. I went from full-time to 4 hours a week supervised. And it has been that for the last 7 months. No moving forward. And it was exposed in court yesterday of why. Because I didn't do what they wanted. He flat out said it. Miss Johnson, do you realize that you would be further along if you had done these services and assessments and things without the court order? Okay, so I'm punished and my children are punished for asking for due process just like any other criminal case or case deserves? I was like, no, I don't think that's right. They also keep it on a plan. Well, you have to do X, Y, and Z just like everybody else. Well, that's not the way it should be, and I'm going to fight for that, to have those changes. We need change. We need people to be there to protect our children and be specialists in that. But that is not the case in the system that we have today. Losing my kids has put me, I'm not going to lie, at the end of my rope. Just like anybody else. I mean, and I did not, please do not take this and put me at risk or say I'm mental or that I'm suicidal. But there's days I just wanted to die because I felt so empty without my kids. And if it had not been for the guidance, love, and support of many of you that stood by my side and reminded me, just like this ring. Uh-oh, it's not charging. This ring was sent to me from let me make sure somebody unplugged it. Give me just 2 seconds. This ring and a bracelet was sent to me. Now it's going to cut me off. There we go. Let me check the cord real quick. Yeah, it came unplugged. Baby, you unplugged me. Okay, sorry guys. I just don't want this to cut off again. It's a lot, I know, and I don't want to. I'm trying to get through it quickly. I don't remember the exact saying. I know it's over here. I put that band on. I felt like Wonder Woman when I wear it. It says warrior, and it says she succeeded because basically I did it because I could, and I did, and my strength. I have a lot more inner strength than I was giving myself credit for. So those people that reminded me, stood by me, didn't ridicule me, didn't try to cause problems, didn't call CPS, they have done all of this, guys. I have to not only deal with CPS, but I have to deal with this group. I know some of you probably are on here. Why? Ask yourself that. What good are you doing? I became very close to several of you after the fact and became friends. I'll say it, friends. My advocate was somebody that was on that side, and I still love her to this day. I know a lot of people give Shara a hard time, but she's kind, and she's helped me. And there was times that there was nobody else to just tell me, I was strong, and I was gonna come out on top. Or helped me with, you know, records or what to do in court. People that were just there to say, I love you. I'm sorry you're going through this. If it would not been for them, like many parents and many others, maybe I wouldn't be here. Did I ever think about ending it? Actually, did I try? No. But there was a night that for 3 hours I had a pretty loud conversation with the man upstairs because I had forgot my worth. I had allowed all those others that hated and hurt to overpower who I knew I was. And I love you too. She grew up with me. And now I see her be a mom, and I think she's wonderful. And Holly, thank you. I didn't know. There was times that I didn't think I was going to get my kids back at the rate that CPS was going, and what Miss McFeely had done. I've had to learn to look at the situations and change my reaction. And I've had to learn that even when things aren't the way they should be, I should take that opportunity to learn and grow and to take the best out of it. Anything and everything that I can to better me. I have dealt with domestic violence, and I see that now. It still affects me. All the way down from when I was a kid. From my father to my first boyfriend, to the relationships, the failed ones, a pattern that I have put myself into. Am I in a bad situation now? No. Not at all. I'm very blessed that I have a man. Was it always perfect? No. But has just as much want and desire to be the best that he can be. And I stand by that. But I had to learn, not just with the man or a relationship that close. We have parents, we have friends that can be abusive. And I'm taking from this the best experience I can in these domestic violence, beyond trauma. They're not classes, but support group. It's an educational support group. Wonderful ladies. Today I was able to watch one graduate after 12 weeks. And she'd had messed up. There are parents that mess up. But that doesn't mean that we should just step on them and squish them and make them feel worse. Let's rub their nose in the poo. You know, if you poo, you poo. Let them be. Let the person poo and clean it up and move on. So I've had a lot of hate and a lot of people not really thinking about my kids in any of this. My kids hurt. And as a mom, that's one of the most horrible things. You can't do anything about it. I went from full-time mom to 2 hours a week. And that is not okay for any family. If we are here, this system is here to build our families. That is not the answer. But I've still accepted it, and I've still done it, and I make the best, and we cook, and we bake, or we ride bikes, or we do paintings, or we draw, or we sit and cuddle and watch TV finally. I have been blessed that my visits have been in my home for quite some time. Excuse me. So with that, I went through fact-finding. I am appealing it. I fully believe it was not, and even my advocate that I still, have talked to her recently, and still loves me and cares about me and wants nothing but the best for me, will tell you as well. I was railroaded completely, and it sucks, but it's what happens a lot. And in this, I have living it 24 years ago and living it now, two different things. And I'm able to take those experiences and see things in a different view, in a different light, to recognize where I need to work on myself as a person, not just a mom, as we all should. We all have to grow in line. And I'm doing that. Do I say thank you to the people that harmed me and my children? No, I don't. But I can appreciate the fact that I'm here now and I'm learning from it. Do I hope that all of you will think twice before you do this again to somebody? Yes, because my kids hurt and they want to come home. Not only was I removed from their life, but their father was too. He got less time. I used to allow him to be around his children anytime they wanted because I felt that was what was best for my kids, and that didn't happen. They've lost their, the right to see their grandparents on a regular basis. They don't see their brother. They've missed my birthday for the first time. They've missed Halloween with me for the first time. Thanksgiving. And I refuse to allow it for Christmas. And I am praying, so please all of you pray that what is in the works for Christmas will happen. Because I can't imagine not waking up to them, and they will not be home by Christmas. It doesn't happen. I went through fact-finding. I filed my appeal. I'm dealing with everything legally that I have to deal with, but I have done everything that they wanted. Has there been hiccups with COVID? Yes. It has kept me from getting some assessments done, but I have followed and will follow everything that they have poured on me. And then I asked for things. I sure did. I asked for certain services because I felt that it was the best thing for me and my kids, especially for what we went through. I believe that we are supposed to be love lifted and help through this process to build our family, not tear it down. I've asked for a home-based counselor because I'm having a hard time, and I'm not afraid to admit it, in juggling all these things. I am having a hard time financially. I am having a hard time medically, and I needed some help keeping that all intact and trying to make it work. Juggling this, I plan to come back in some aspect. Will it be the same? Absolutely not. Can't go backwards and be the same person that I was, because I'm not. Will I still make mistakes? Yes. But I truly believe that what I do, how I am placed in people's lives would never harm them. And I sure would never intentionally do it. And it's most likely the actions of the other person. I help people protect themselves in helping and teaching and educating on what to do. And it does not always work. It doesn't. They got my kids to talk to them because they bugged them for 3 hours. And I know that my kids felt probably like, if I don't talk to her, she's never going to leave. Did they say the things that they said? I don't believe so, because I have the taped recording of what they said to the other caseworker. And I know my kids. And I know they know what kind of mom I am. Was I maybe on the phone too much? Yeah, just like any other working parent, that sometimes I work too much. And a kid doesn't see the times that I'm not and I'm helping them, because they don't, that's just a kid. So let's pick up from when fact-finding, and then we had dispositional hearing, where I was ordered to do everything. Since then I have random drug screening, domestic violence, beyond trauma, support group. They put me in a ridiculous parenting class, learning about babies. But I stood up for myself on that, because it is a waste of my time when I could be learning and growing on how to deal with my special needs child at his age, at her age. Dealing with children that have had harder lives at times, different lives, seeing, you know, parents not get along. That's what we need help with. And then I'm to take a clinical assessment, which is not quite the mental, but it is a step backwards from that. It's not a full psychological. And I'm very much looking forward to doing it with the lady that I have been trying to for several weeks. She had a COVID thing. I was quarantined for a COVID test when I got real sick again. I've had 2 during this time. So I've been quarantined twice in this process. But I was able, we talked through texting, and we've actually, like, she was just really friendly and I didn't have a problem. And then she, unfortunately, this last weekend had a death and had to cancel again this weekend. And then Monday, my phone got turned off because I forgot to pay it, and in the morning, and I missed her text. And now we're setting it up where she now, it was her family member, now she has a COVID. So I've had 3 different people that have had COVID situations where they were quarantined. It is affecting this situation with many. So we are on, I think, for next week, where then they have now thrown on me at last minute individual therapy. My children are in therapy, which I had set up prior to any of this, and I pushed for more. In court yesterday, I believe my kids have been through even more now and are dealing with more, that it has or will cause more behavior problems. So I want them to have more therapy, and I want family therapy, because if we're supposed to be building into a family, that hasn't happened. There's not been one thing that I have been involved with their therapy, their schooling, nothing. That's not okay. How am I supposed to be the best mom that I can be if you think I'm not a good mom, if you don't give us interaction? 4 hours a week where I have to do all night tonight was spent on homework because Jet didn't have his homework done all week. So who got? I do. And it was rough. And it took up almost all of our time tonight. But I did it because that's what's necessary. So, let's see. And then I have drug assessment. Even though I'm testing negative and never been arrested for it, never had problems. Everybody wants to say something about this drug overdose. Sometimes things aren't what they seem or what's in paper. Since that has happened, I will say that there has been another ER visit and a diagnosis that causes certain episodes, and very scary. It's a neurological problem from a traumatic brain injury. Police have jumped to conclusions a lot of the times in my situation and my circumstances. So that is not the case that's going on in this house. It's not party down. Yes, I have friends, and yes, I had them over, you know, for Halloween, and I have a boyfriend, or I'm sorry, a fiance. I don't understand sometimes what people think, but I have to do a drug assessment when I'm already drug testing and, you know, am coming out negative and not having any issues. And let me tell you, you can't fake them, guys. Mouth swabs. I ain't got no pee. I ain't got my pee in the fridge or the fake pee, and I'm slipping it in, and everybody's peeing for me. I've heard that amongst plenty of you. It is a mouth swab. Can't get past it. Sorry. Our house is not full of drugs. We do exercise our Second Amendment, and we have survival gear and hunting gear and things to that matter. But, and I can say this for a fact, my son and daughter have been taught gun safety, weapon safety, And they are careful. And we all have, I grew up in a gun shop, so if there was guns all around everywhere, I knew not to touch them. So we treat any gun in this house, any weapon, any knife, as if it were real. So when my kids do see a gun that they don't, it's not theirs and they've already established it's a play gun, they don't touch it. I'm proud of my kids because I've had that circumstance come up where they didn't touch it and they contacted a an adult. But with our house isn't like that. And my house is clean. I can't stand one dish next to my bed, like a cup at night. I have to take that assessment. That was a huge issue with the place that was supposed to do it. They were supposed to do it. Then they now, last minute, after I've waited almost 2 months, said they're not going to do it unless it's inpatient. Well, I am not an inpatient drug addict. And there's nothing wrong with drug addicts seeking help. There's nothing that makes you any less of a person than anyone else. There's a lot of problems right now with drugs and a lot of people that struggle. We all have addictions. It can be sex. It can be coffee. It can be shopping. It can be drugs, alcohol, a lot of different things. It doesn't make us any less worthy of life, happiness, to be treated with respect. So the disposition came about. I've been doing that. We got an unexpected court date. I don't want to get too much into this because it is not because of me. My children's father was then pulled into court after giving him what I consider a little bit too much leeway. Some things happened, and his things were restricted, and things were brought back. That was about a month ago. So then my kids, I feel, were like dangled. They also started saying they were going to live there, and that is not the determination. There is reunification, is the plan, has been the plan, has been stated in every court case. There is no chance of terminating our rights. That is not anything on the table, not a possibility. And even yesterday was once again said that reunification was the end goal, with a permanency hearing in March. We went to the review hearing yesterday, which is I think it's a 2-month review hearing. Yes, it was a 2-month review hearing after the dispositional hearing. Now look at this. Look at these time frames. It should not take this long. Our fact finding should have been like that. Should not have went as far as it did and taking till September. They were taken in May. September was the fact finding. Dispositional was a whole month later. So I wasn't court ordered to do anything. Did I do what they... No, I still was not going to do what they requested because, yeah, addicted to guitars. I got a lot of knick-knack addictions. I did not feel... We actually put in, okay, look, when you do a dispositional, they give what they want. They make a whole list, and it took a long time, okay? But you're able, and you have a right to put in kind of like a counter offer, your own, what you think. Did I do that? Yes, and I spent hours on it. Did I accept a lot of what they were asking for? Yes. Did I ask for some other provisions? Yes. But it is what it is. Came down to October before we ever got the court order. And now I'm being punished because their time frames and their procedures kept me, even though I've done everything that I am ordered to do, is not something that should keep my kids away from my home. I don't have a serious problem that causes any kind of harm to my kids. My kids, there's not one issue, not one concern from the caseworker to the supervised visits to the CASA. None of them have any problem with my home. or the fact that I'm well bonded with my children, that I obviously love them, that I am attentive to their needs, that I know what they need and want when I am around them. But I've been held back. So dispositional comes, I start doing these processes. I'm going to continue. The parenting classes will probably change, are supposed to change. Yesterday was the review hearing. Once the review hearing hit, I'm really proud of who I became today, of who I am. My only concern was me and my kids' relationship and our future, and more my children than mine. I stood tall, proud, and respectful to the court in fighting and being the advocate for my children and my family, in fighting for what if we have to be here, by golly, we're going to do everything we can to be the strongest family, to be the best parent, to be an understanding, loving, caring, and respectful child, to learn to do what we need to learn as we grow. So I'm going to keep doing it. But the parenting classes are ridiculous. I have no uterus, okay, not to be TMI, but there is no babies coming out of this, and I don't need any more. Okay, I got 4 from 27 to 8. Don't need it. I'm not stupid. I can't afford it. Don't have enough time. I get torn between the 2 of them. So why am I spending 12 weeks learning about infant and toddlers, nurturing them, when I have no problem? I am in tune with my emotions. I am very good about expressing that to my children, redirecting, nurturing, loving, understanding the importance of that in growing, even my own case, as of my own childhood to today. And I want more time with my children. I asked for them to come home because in reality there is no issues, but if not, another issue came up. I did a live not too long ago where I stated that my children were being moved. They are. And I got very upset and angry. But now I am more understanding. Again, I love all my children. And the fact that whatever's going on, I'm going to keep it private. The move is happening. The move, I at least had some say in it this time, and I actually asked that my family member have them from the beginning because I felt like there would be an issue, and there is, financially, emotionally. It is a lot of work, and I don't expect my daughter to do that for my children. I can do that, but I'm not allowed. So with that, my children will be moving. And of course I was scared about foster care. But they are going to be with another family member. Tentatively, at this point, it is not set in stone. But the judge, we didn't even have to have a hearing. The judge ordered that be the first option for my children. And I know that everything's fine. There is no criminal history. There's plenty of money to support them, food, a house that has 2 bedrooms with a Jack and Jill bathroom for them. I did not want them to move because I felt like my kids have had some problems with behaviors and regression. And with that, they will be moving, they would have been moving schools. And I felt like that was just not what they needed. They've lost living in their home, the only home they've ever lived in. They've been thrown into this mess wrongfully, but they're here. And to take them from the only school, especially my little guy, who does struggle severely at school with behavior, it wouldn't be good. So I wanted to fight that. So, I asked for them to come home so they could stay in the same school, to start some unsupervised visits because they should have already been. And it became a compromise. The judge heard me. She heard me, and my children will get to stay in their school. They have to work this out. And thanks to Amanda Marie, I'm gonna give you credit. I didn't know this, but evidently the court did, because the judge ordered this, and I hadn't even said anything about what you told me about it being in, a certain act or bill that came through, that they have to make sure that my kids can go to that school still, and it's gonna be virtual. Is that gonna be hard? Just as hard? Yes. It'll be hard to do, hopefully less than 3 months of virtual school again. But at least we're a little bit more familiar with it because of the COVID. And I have full faith in my family members to take care of that. They'll be loved. They'll have one-on-one attention from them. And in that process, my visits will be changing from here, just because of the circumstances, not because they're not allowed here. They're allowed here 100%, but it's a long drive. So I will be going to them with still supervised visits. However, I've been given more time, and the judge now immediately said they need to provide even more time for me and my kids to be together, to find more time. She stated that she would rather drop the parenting classes that are just not age appropriate and not doing any good, in lieu of family counseling, which I have been begging for. Not just asking, begging for this whole time. Because there's no way that we can be a better family unless we all work through this together. And when I say family, I mean their father as well. Am I angry? Am I disappointed? Yes. But he's their dad. He has taken care, I'll give him this, he's taking care of his warrants. He is working a little bit. Still not paying some of the stuff he should, but that's never kept me from keeping his kids anyway. It would never happen. Money, visits, money, relationship with their dad. It doesn't, you take this and that, it doesn't work that way. It's not supposed to. So for any of you doing that, stop. Stop. I may never see the $18,000 behind in support, but I can't justify taking his relationship from my kids, my children's rights. So I mean him, and yes, I mean my daughter, my grandkids, my firstborn. I want my family back, and I want my family back in the best possible way that we can be. So we're going to get that. I will get maybe Christmas with the kids. I don't know what exactly it's going to come out at, but sorry, I'm talking a lot. I am hoping that I'm able to stay the night there, and I'm hoping that my family member is able to start supervising. And the reason they said they do this, which I don't think is right, because some will allow family members to supervise. When my first case was happening, my ex-husband supervised all my visits, all of them. So I understand some of it because certain things happen. And I've had 2 circumstances where something's happened and it protected me as well. And I love them. But by golly, y'all are going to give me some more time, and it's going to become unsupervised hopefully soon, and then we'll start working into overnights. My kids will get to stay in the same school that they are in now. I'm going to get more time, and I'm going to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to do whatever they ask of me. Do I agree with it? No, I do not. I don't agree with putting me through this hoops and the obstacles that they put in your way. I was blamed for not taking 5 in the paperwork that the CPS put in, the attorney, Bradley, which I cannot stand. I'm sorry, but he lied. He perjured himself on my PO. Stay tuned for that too. I'm fighting that. Definitely. I want that off because I feel it was pressured to be put on. And it wasn't even my daughter's signature. It was him. So, yeah, Bradley wasn't happy with me yesterday, probably, because he tried to make it out to be my fault. And he started talking about, missing these drug tests and they put it in the report that I had not tested on these days. They were all before I was court ordered. Was I hiding anything? It didn't matter, period, if I was or wasn't. No, I have to be who I am. And that is a rights activist standing up for families and due process and rights within our family court systems, family and juvenile court systems, and in DCS, CPS, the alphabet agents. So if I had done anything different, I wouldn't have been who I am. I have to rest my head, down at night and be okay. And how do I tell families it's time to stand up? It's time to stand up and rise up. It doesn't mean it's time to go and attack and rampage everybody. Just because I'm loud and obnoxious and different in the way I protest doesn't mean that I'm stupid or unreasonable. You have to have a compromise or at least negotiations and talks. You can't work something out with somebody if you can't even have a conversation. So that's how they do things. They will make the parent look bad. And right. So for 5 tests, I called them out. I was not court ordered, and you cannot punish me for doing that. I stood up for myself, but I most of all stood up for my children. And I need people to understand that I have a right to do this process the way that I'm supposed to, the way that God has intended for me and my family. God had a path for me. He's had a path for me since 24 years ago when I started this journey dealing with CPS, DCS. I have not had CPS in my life for 20 years, as some would like to make it seem. Hasn't happened. My son is 18 and never once had CPS. My daughter was 4.5. After that, we never saw it again. They did not come back into my life until this time, October of 2017, when my daughter was 8 and 6. I have raised my children the best that I know that I can be at that moment, and just tried to be a better parent the next day, the next moment, the next event. And you're right. It makes me sad that so many people are hating, hurting, harming. Some would rather say mean and nasty things to somebody than just not say anything at all. Have I flipped the camera off a couple times? Yes. Have I called him, the C word in New Jersey? Yes, I can't take it back. I'm human. And I was in that moment, not you. And you're right, Lynette. Hurt people. So I now try to pray to wish them nothing but happiness, because they are angry, sad, hurting. But we can all make a difference, and we can change this. We don't have to feed into the ones that hate. We don't have to follow the ones that we know are not being kind and lifting and loving. If you don't want to help somebody, that's okay too. If you can't be in that situation, there's probably somebody else that can, but you don't have to stand in the way of somebody getting to that person or that information or that help. There is one person I am very upset with in this process out of all of them. And it is hard for me not to hate every time I look at my kids or I hear them say, I want to come home. Today I had to tell my children again that they still weren't coming home. And it's hard for them to see the light at the end of the tunnel like I see. And it tears me up that I missed all this year of school, that I don't get to tuck him in at bed. And it's hard for me to not have that hate fill up inside of me. But I don't have time for that. And I don't have the energy to waste, because I'm only here a certain amount of time. And the more I focus on that, the more I harm myself. The more I harm my kids, because I am not giving them the best me. I am responsible for all my own actions, mistakes, successes, victories. And it's okay to be who I am. I'm not going to change for anybody. I'm going to make change for me and my family. I've had good things happen during this. I've met some amazing people. Uncle T, Miss L, Miss A. I've get a new, support group from my home-based counselor. Me and my man have grown a lot in this. His wife died, and there's things that he probably hasn't dealt with. And we're able to take those things that I learn in this class, that I take notes on. And I keep this on there that my son made me, and it says, "I love you, Mommy, very, very much, from Jet to Mom." And he has us down here. And he has K for Chloe, and she was 7, and J is 5, and Mom is 42. Thank you. I take some of that, and I have been able to make the things that I'm learning about surviving trauma and domestic violence into my life now to help better the relationship that me and him have. We are a team. I am getting married. When, I'm not sure. But I couldn't be happier. I have somebody that's willing to work with me, that loves my kids, that is doing whatever he needs to. But I've also had some of the worst moments of my life. The moment I lost in court. Adore didn't like me much, I'll just say that. I wasn't very nice to it. The lonely nights, the empty house, the silence, the holidays, they've been horrible. And one other thing, I became a godmother in all of this, and I was so honored that that person thought that much of me, even in this moment when so many want to call me a bad mom or a bad person, or that I'm just a piece of shit, because I'm not. And if you truly know me, you'd know that. People have to stop attacking each other. We have to start helping each other. And we have to understand that this system is not right. But it's not what I thought it was in all areas. Is it money funded and meant for money? Yes, by certain people, by the states, by individuals that have nothing to do with the families. I know for a fact that my visit supervisors don't make much. I know for a fact that there's a lot of people trying to help people in this circumstances that aren't rich off of this, that go home with a lot of things in their head. I thank you. I love Harley, and I have a ton of stuff for her. I got to get the mailing address. I'll probably have to send a couple packages. I've also I have not continued the foundation, and I have not been able to help or do my shows or do as much as I would like to. but I've still helped people. I see a couple of you guys on here still. And that makes me feel good. I have people that give me messages that state, I got one today, and I know he's on here, that said, you know, I was missed on the front line. That means a lot. I'm thinking about making sure I get a hold of Brian for the Christmas marathon that I've done for the last 2 years. The New Year's marathon, I did the 50-50, or the Father's Day marathon. I love those things. And I want to do them again. But I still have been able to help people in the way that I've been able to. And that's one thing I've had to learn, is how to prioritize and how to also show people that it's okay to mess up. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to need help. It's okay to ask for help, as much as we hate to. We discussed that in class today, that we take all of these responsibilities and these feelings on, and we put the weight of the world on our shoulder. It's time for us as a community, as a family, as friends, to start making a change, to start looking at things from other points of view and not treating it as it's my way or no way, because there's a lot of ways. My son was getting homework done tonight, and Tony was helping him because I was cooking and doing dishes, and you know, I had Chloe here, and they were trying to come up with the answer to a math problem. And my son did it one way, and I heard Tony say, or there's other ways you can do it. And there is. Not everybody has to do it perfectly one way. But I guarantee to you, if we showed more unity, less hate, more love, the world would be a better place. And our kids would be safer. Our families would be healthier. I believe that the change needs to start at the beginning, and that is where CPS, DCS needs to start as well. Domestic violence, drugs, financial, poverty is the main issues that we deal with all over. And the only way that we can fix that is to build better communities, to teach our children younger, to teach them love. When something happened to me recently and I wanted to walk away, and everybody told me to walk away, I heard God telling me to love more. Love that person more. No matter how much you take on, or you know that they're doing wrong, still love them. Doesn't mean you have to put them right beside you, and you have to have boundaries, and I'm learning, better boundaries myself. But if you love somebody, you love them, and you support them, and want them to do right, and want them to be the best person that they can be. And you can't sometimes enable, but you can support. So right now, the plan is my children are going to be moving over the holidays. The plan should be that I'm getting more time, which I am so thankful for. But it's going to be hard too. I haven't been with the children for 7, and it will probably be 10 months before they're home. So it's an adjustment. And I have to adjust to that too. Even though I've been a mom full time, I've also been off duty. Not by any choice, but I have. And I'm going to need love, support when I go through that, and so are my kids. I'm going to start getting, more time than unsupervised and then home, and then they are coming. I fully believe home. Can I say for sure? No, because stuff always happens. But I don't feel the trickery or the issues with certain people in my case. I am not saying I like my caseworker all the way. We've had moments. If you recall, Jake, this with CPS, not State Farm guy. But I don't feel that he's trying to yank my kids away. Not him. But higher ups, yeah. I have every head of each department on my case. Just remember that. Senior judge, head of CASA, one of the best attorneys CPS has, and my ex got the head of the public defenders. I have had an uphill battle, really have. But there's a song, and I'm sorry it's Miley Cyrus, but it's the climb. That's where I'm at. And I'm going to continue to climb till I get over the top. And then guess what? I'm probably going to have another hill, another mountain. So I hope everybody takes from this that what is actually going on, instead of feeding into what people want to say, you're hearing it right here. Do they want to, certain people want to take my kids for good? Yeah, I believe so. But God's got me. And I'm going to get through this with no doubt. Nobody online or around me has caused any harm to my case. Please know that. And I do not accept or have any respect for people that continue to bash people in this, especially some that have been more help than any of you could ever imagine, to me personally. And whether they like them or not, I do. And I love them, and I appreciate them. So there is no bashing on my behalf. Anything that you want to say on my behalf should be done in love and respect, and take it personal, to a personal level. Don't go bashing people online. I don't like it. The more people feed into it, the worse it gets, and people like me and my children get hurt. So I am going to continue my path. I'm going to keep taking. I'm going to do the other assessments once they get everything set up again. And I'm just going to keep moving forward. And I'm going to keep learning. And I'm going to keep understanding more of why God has put me in this. I don't think that he wants this, but he's going to, we go through things to get places, to be where we need to be. And I will say that this has brought me a lot more insight, understanding, compassion, love for some of the people that are in this work. And I want those people to be the ones that can continue helping our families from the get-go. Helping our young girls, our young boys, helping the poverty-stricken neighbor. The other day, my neighbor brought me food again, and I couldn't be more thankful. I'm struggling. I'm not too proud to, say that I am, for all of them making fun of my house situation, or I still don't have Christmas money for my kids, for Christmas. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to have faith that it's going to work out. It is what it is. And all I can do is live in it and grow from it and live. So continue to pray. Thank you. There's one of my sweet cousins that is from, my family of love, not blood. And I appreciate your support so much. I am going to be the best person I can be to everyone. And I hope that you guys will do the same. All of you that are harming people, please look within yourself and think about it. Would you do that to your family member? Would you want your family member, mother, daughter, sister, aunt, uncle, son, grandparents, grandkids, would you want them to live that? Would you want somebody treating them that way? I've been able to come together with people that hated me, I thought, or definitely didn't like me. And I feel like we are going to be some of the most powerful forces in the end of this. I am Jamie Starr Johnson, advocate, activist, mother, fighter, warrior. By the way, this got lost in the attic, and I was up there for quite some time digging in the insulation. It meant that much to me. But when I lost it, I thought of something. And I told the person that gave it to me how upset I was, because I wear it every day. And I look at it, and I touch it, and it reminds me. And when I said I put that bracelet on, and I felt like a warrior going in there. I felt like Wonder Woman, It's still just a symbol. And the reason she got this for me was so I would look down and remember who I was. This is just an item. It doesn't take away the fact that I am that person, and I had forgotten. So, again, mother, fighter, friend, daughter, grandma, aunt. I'm jobs. I am a model. I am a business person, woman. I'm a lot of things. And I want to be just that. So I'm off to be the fiance that I am. To get my Christmas stuff ready, to be the mom I am. If you ever need anything, please don't hesitate. If you have questions, if you don't agree with me, that's okay too. But come to me. Talk to me. So here's the story. This is where I'm at. This is where I've been, and this is where I'm going. You can either enjoy that with me or enjoy your life somewhere else. So I have a lot of comments. I'm going to try to come back. I didn't put on my glasses because I could read them all. It's old lady time. I actually have some gray hairs popping up again. I'm like freaking out. But got the grandma glasses. I will go through and I will try to respond to all of you. I appreciate everybody being here, coming out, caring. Even if you just were here to find out what was going on. If you're on a replay, thank you. Any help that I can be, I am still here. I am not like taking on cases, but look, I can't not love people, and I can't not be the giving person that I am. So I have signed off like this a couple times before. You'll see me do this every day. Not only do I tuck my kids in a certain way, which I've had to do in a car, acting like I'm tucking them in every visit, and I still do that for them. I miss that. And that's another thing. I'm going to be able to maybe tuck my kids in at night on my visits. Can't wait. Okay? But my kids hear I love you all the time. We've done this for years. We do power love. But we also do this. And that is my little signature. But instead of just giving the love out, here, we send it with you. So all my love to all of you. And I'll talk to you again soon. I don't know how soon, because I got a lot of this stuff on my plate. But if you need anything, call me. And if you want to stay in touch, I'm going to say this as a little thing at the end. Make sure that you are on my other accounts as friends. And if it's a personal person and we have a relationship, get my number, please. Because it was horrible being alone all by myself in the Facebook world. It's probably what I needed, though. because I'm really focused. So all my love to you guys. Till we talk again. Bye.